Alright, buckle up, because this is gonna get intense. The cover explodes with a visceral scene. Moon Knight, clad in his stark white suit, is looming over a man. The man's face is contorted in a silent scream, his mouth wide open in a rictus of horror. Blood streaks his face and body. Moon Knight's grip is firm, his armored hand holding a cruel, curved blade. The glint of steel reflects in the dim light, highlighting the brutality of the moment. The red background and the splatters of blood on both figures create a sense of raw, frenzied violence. Moon Knight's hood is partially pulled back, revealing the blackness beneath, as he stares down at his victim. You can almost hear the choked breaths and feel the tension in the air. The cover is a stark, dark portrait of merciless justice. The scene shifts, and we're immediately thrust into the thick of things. High above, on a rooftop overlooking the city, a figure stands, silhouetted in the shadows. It's someone watching a scene unfold below. We see SWAT vehicles and officers moving in, a police operation underway. A voice, calm but demanding, says, "Tell me something good, Carver." Then the perspective shifts to a second, distinct character with a regal bearing, a bald woman with a piercing gaze, dressed in an opulent red coat and a striking golden breastplate. Her katana gleams in the moonlight as she stands tall against a massive, luminous moon. The city skyline stretches below, an abstract canvas of green and yellow. "Your pet cop came through, Fairchild," she says, her voice echoing with purpose. SBUAT. Just breached the midnight mission. The tension is palpable as the mission is clearly underway. The woman with the katana is talking tough, a mix of confidence and arrogance in her tone. She scoffs at the idea of SWAT handling that spooky old midnight mission. The scene cuts to the past. Vanaheim. Then, where a figure in black is facing a swarm of monstrous bats. It's chaotic, with the bats looking more like demons, and a voice whispers, "It's killed bigger." Back on the rooftop, she raises her katana and a crackling, pink energy surges from it, a powerful, otherworldly magic. Her words are clipped and menacing. "Keep your money. Remember what you promised me." She then instructs someone, "Carve her out." There's a coldness in her eyes as she asks, "Will this be enough, Jinnah?" It's clear she's not playing around, and whatever she's conjuring is serious business. The transition between the past and present scenes gives the sense of her comparing what she's currently dealing with to something greater she's already overcome. The woman's magic explodes, filling the frame with a violent, swirling vortex of pink energy. Lightning crackles around her, and the air seems to vibrate with power. The figure, barely discernible in the center of the chaos, is almost lost within the storm of magic. Her question, "Will this life be enough?" hangs in the air. The massive sound effect, woo-oh-ah-ah, underscores the sheer force she's unleashing. It's a full page of raw, unbridled energy, a visual representation of the woman's formidable magical abilities. We're now inside a dimly lit room where Moon Knight, his white costume stark against the shadows, is facing a woman with orange hair and a tiger-striped suit. Her tail swishes behind her as she accuses him. Hank Pam is alive, and you never told me." Her tone is a mix of shock and anger. Mark, his alter ego, replies, his voice strained, "I was going to. After we stopped the Black Spectre, after we saved the city, but I died." The scene shifts, the ground beneath them shaking with the same hoo-ah-ah sound we heard previously. The woman asks, her voice urgent, "And you came back, March? Hang on, what's happening?" As Moon Knight is walking towards the disruption, he replies, Mission, what are you?" It seems the fallout from the woman's magic is creating a serious disturbance, disrupting a more personal moment between Moon Knight and a companion. There is a tension between the emotional conflict between them and the unfolding chaos. The chaos is growing. Moon Knight grabs a wall, attempting to orient himself amidst the disarray, while the tiger-suited woman looks on, confused and concerned. He's clearly trying to make sense of what's happening, saying, "I can't feel the midnight mission. It's just a wall." His tone is bewildered as he says, I think it's dead." The tiger woman's eyes widen and she exclaims, "Dead? What could kill the midnight mission? It's a living haunted house, for God's sake." The scene abruptly shifts again, and she's now more alert, her eyes narrowed, declaring, "Knight, show me your hands." Things have taken a serious turn, a shift from bewilderment to action. It's clear that the magical blast from the rooftop is having an immediate and disastrous effect on their location. They're no longer just in a room, they're now being targeted by authorities. The room is breached, and we see a squad of heavily armed officers facing Moon Knight and the tiger-striped woman. The lead officer, a woman with a determined look, addresses them. Mark Spector, a K. Moon Knight. Greer Grant Nelson, a K. Tigra. You're under arrest. The officers are in full tactical gear, weapons trained on Moon Knight, who stands with his back to us, and Tigra, who's giving the officers a skeptical glance. The scene has moved from an uneasy sense of something being wrong to an overt confrontation with the law. The tension is palpable as the focus shifts from magical chaos to a very real threat of imprisonment. The tension escalates. Moon Knight's face is a mask of fury. "What did you do? What did you do to my midnight mission?" he shouts. The lead officer, gun raised and with narrowed eyes, gives a sharp order on the ground. Now, another officer, her face contorted in rage, screams at Moon Knight, "You killed my home. You killed my friend." It's revealed through a close-up of the lead officer's face that she's not in the best of moods and is ready to take them out. It's a chaotic mix of accusations and orders. The lead officer, with a menacing grin and her teeth bared, orders, "No, take them, soldier." One of the officers replies, "You got it, boss." They have no intention of going down without a fight. Moon Knight and Tigra are now facing an enraged police force that is clearly operating out of vengeance as much as they are duty. The fight erupts. A cacophony of gunshots is unleashed as Moon Knight and Tigra spring into action. Moon Knight launches himself with a flying kick, screaming, "Rav!" taking down one of the officers, while another cries out in pain. Moon Knight and Tigra, with a fierce, "Come on," engage the rest of the squad. Tigra somersaults through the air, her movements fluid and acrobatic. Moon Knight dives forward, his cloak billowing behind him. Bullets fly around them, but both heroes are a blur of motion, evading the gunfire. The scene is a burst of kinetic energy, a fast-paced action sequence. The fight has begun, and it looks like Moon Knight and Tigra are more than ready to put up a fight against the officers. The fight rages on. One of Moon Knight's alter egos, dressed in a white suit, shouts "Boss," and asks, "What's the plan?" Moon Knight, with a glint in his eye, coldly replies, "They came into our house, killed one of us, punish them." Tigra, dodging bullets, counters, "What? We can't fight the whole police force. We have to get out of here." There's a stark shift in the next scene. Moon Knight is towering over the enraged officer from the previous page. The officer is in shock at the quick turn of events and fear, repeating, Don't. Moon Knight, his eyes burning with white light, is unflinching, and his words drip with a cold menace. "Thee started it. Why shouldn't I, Detective Frazier? You junkie, murdering, dirty cop." A close-up of Moon Knight's crescent blade shows that he's not about to back down from this fight. This is no longer about getting away. It's about taking the fight to those who have challenged him. The situation intensifies. An officer, her face tense, calls out, "Mark, there are cops everywhere, and the mission isn't responding." "What are you doing?" Another one of Moon Knight's alter egos, clad in a black suit with a white cape, appears. He addresses Moon Knight. "Brother, she's Fairchild's cop. They killed the mission." The intensity of the situation is clear. The same alter ego is seen a few panels later, replying, "Brother." Moon Knight then pushes the officer back as "You win, Hunter's Moon." His resolve is set, and the tone becomes more serious when he says, "We're leaving." The focus shifts from a simple fight to an escape, but not before Moon Knight's other side has spoken its mind. The idea of retreat and escape is clearly not what Moon Knight would prefer. The escape is on. Moon Knight's white-suited alter ego, alongside Tigra and his black-suited counterpart, states, "And we're going through anyone in our way." A surveillance feed shows the officers moving through a smoky room, with one yelling, "Smoke," and another reporting, "Visibility down." The smoke is clearly a tactical move to give them some cover. One officer screams as the same magical pink energy from the rooftop is unleashed once again, striking a second officer. In a final dynamic view, Moon Knight is seen hurtling towards us, his cape spread wide. He says, with an icy finality, "You made a mistake coming here." The sequence shows a smooth transition from a tight room to the smoke-filled chaos and then the escape as Moon Knight launches himself out of the situation. It's clear the fight is not over, but the heroes have gained an edge. The action explodes across the page. Moon Knight, in his black and white suit, is the central focus, leaping into the fray. Bullets are flying, and the panels around him showcase the chaotic nature of the escape. One officer yells, "No," as Tigra fights one police officer, while another officer is seen using a sword and another a gun. Moon Knight's white-suited persona is falling forward, with the dark-suited one hitting another officer. Tigra screams, "Rave!" as she takes down an officer. In the panel, a black-suit Moon Knight's persona hits an officer with hoof sound effect. The panels give the impression that there is chaos around them. There is a sense of controlled violence as each of Moon Knight's alter egos each take out their target as Tigra takes on multiple attackers. The fight is intense, showcasing their fighting prowess. They're making sure they're making the police force suffer for their actions against the Midnight Mission. The dust settles, and we see all of Moon Knight's alter egos grouped, looking ready to move on. His black and white suited form now in the front, his cape flowing behind him. Tigra's voice rings out, "We need to keep moving. Mark, this is escalating out of control." The panel focuses on Moon Knight, who's stating, "The mission patterned itself off my first Midnight Mission, then it improvised. Now that it's dead, it's reverted to that first form." A creak sound effect as the structure shifts and buckles. The scene cuts to another perspective. Moon Knight's white-suited persona says, "It left us an escape, protecting us one last time." Tigra replies, "Escape? Escape where?" The focus is now on the fact that the Midnight Mission has been destroyed, and they need to regroup and figure out their next steps. The tension is high, and the sense of urgency is palpable. The escape takes them into the city streets. A panel above shows the group fleeing through a dark tunnel. "The cops are after us," we're told. In another panel, Moon Knight's black-suited persona is shown entering a manhole, with the narrator stating, "The crooks are after us." A wide shot shows Moon Knight, now front and center with a resolute expression, with his various alter egos grouped behind him alongside Tigra. "We lost our home," the narrator says, with a somber tone. The panel fades to black, with a final line appearing, "So we do the only thing we can." The story takes a somber turn as the Midnight Mission is gone, and they are now in a more vulnerable state than they were before. The tone is a mix of regret and determination. They have to find a way to move on. The heroes are on the run, and the page explodes with dynamic movement. "We run," the narrator states. Moon Knight is in the foreground, his cloak billowing as he races forward. Tigra leaps through the air, a blur of orange and black. The other alter egos and an additional character are shown to be following in their wake. They're navigating the city streets, with police vehicles flashing red and blue in the background. The focus is squarely on their escape, with speed and urgency being key factors. The page is a visual representation of the statement, "Right, run." The action is fast and the colors are striking. The scene shifts to the depths of New York City, as the narrator tells us, "We go underground." A large circular tunnel gives way to an underground structure with a SHIELD label. Moon Knight's white-suited persona is seen using some kind of monitor. Tigra asks, "You weren't kidding. What the hell is this place?" A voice explains, "Decommissioned SHIELD station. A crazy guy used to hide out here, killing people, before I tracked him down. He broke his victims down for parts so he could make himself stronger." The room is dimly lit with screens glowing red. The atmosphere is tense as the mystery of where they are and what took place there is revealed. This old SHIELD station seems to be both a refuge and a place of sinister history. The tension is palpable, and the group is clearly not out of the woods yet. The group is now inside a dimly lit room. The woman with short black hair asks, looking at one of Moon Knight's alter egos, "So what, you came down here and dragged him out?" Moon Knight, in his white suit, simply replies, "Nope." We then see a gnarled skeletal figure. The woman says, "Oh." A close-up of the same woman shows an almost possessed stare, her eyes flashing red. She asks, "Why didn't you use this place when Zodiac blew up the first Midnight Mission?" Moon Knight's white-suited persona states, "Because I needed people to be able to find me, so I could help them. This is a place to be forgotten, and Moon Knight's masked face fills the frame, and he says, "This is a tome, not a mission." The tone has shifted once again to one of finality as the nature of the underground refuge is revealed to be a tome. The panels are dark and claustrophobic, emphasizing the gravity of their situation. The reveal about the location feels important, and there are clearly more stories to be told here. The mood is somber, and the gravity of the situation is sinking in. Moon Knight's white-suited persona is off to the side of the panel, stating, "I'm not going to lie, this is very bad." The panel shows all the alter egos of Moon Knight and Tigra standing, facing the viewer. Tigra's voice rings out as she states, "Fairchild's got the cops after us. Took the midnight mission away from us, our teammate and friend, which we've always counted on for protection. He's chased us out of our own territory." Moon Knight's dark masked face fills the bottom of the panel with a stark declaration, "As of right now, each of us is a fugitive from the law." The group is clearly in a precarious situation. Their home, their protection, everything has been taken from them. The weight of their predicament is palpable. They are now fugitives, hunted by the law and with their refuge destroyed. The group starts piecing together what just happened. Moon Knight's 8-ball-headed persona tells his white-suited persona, "Whatever. This isn't even my 5th rodeo." "Ha! Tell me about it, bot." The white-suited persona retorts, "Don't touch me, 8-ball. Man's laws do not compare to those of a god, our father." The dark-suited persona, looking as though they're about to disappear into a puff of smoke, adds, "I can turn into smoke. Let them try and catch me." Tigra, her eyes narrowed, declares, "Look, William's with the cat people. He's fine." But no one's asking the right questions here. Moon Knight's masked face fills the panel as he asks, "What were they after us for? What crime did we supposedly commit?" He continues, "I was wondering that myself, but I think I put it together, which is why I was trying to get the TV monitor to work." Listen. The focus shifts to what could have led to the events that just transpired. They are starting to question the circumstances of their situation and are keen to find the answers. The tone is tense as they prepare to get to the bottom of the situation. The final page unveils the situation. A news report is being broadcast, showing a woman with long dark hair delivering a statement. She says, "Police say that the self-described priest first came to their attention due to reports of disturbing cult activity in his so-called midnight mission. It wasn't long before the police traced a far more serious crime to Moon Knight's doorstep, the manufacture and distribution of the exotic drug known on the streets as glitter, or more recently, moon dust. Currently at large, the public is urged to contact the authorities with any sightings of these violent drug traffickers." The news broadcast features pictures of Moon Knight, both masked and unmasked, as well as his alter egos. The panel shifts, showing the group listening to the broadcast. In a final line, the newscaster continues, "Consider them armored and extremely dangerous." The words, "to be continued," appear underneath. This page shows that they have been framed for drug manufacturing. It seems someone has set them up, and they are now considered extremely dangerous to the public. The story ends on this cliffhanger, leaving us eager for the next chapter. Thanks for tuning in. Stay curious, stay awesome, and don't forget to hit that subscribe button for more amazing content.